everybody, it's Kristina Dennis, Transformational Self-Empowerment Master, and I'm welcoming myself back. Let me see if I can get this little fuzzy a little bit. Oh well. I'm welcoming myself back after having a week off with my son. He was out of school, and he's still got a few more days left on spring break, or not spring break, summer break, because of Billy's ability to kind of regress when time's off. Hi, Laura. He gets to have school full year round, and believe me, that's really good for him. He'll have several more scattered days off throughout the summer, but this is the big 2 weeks. And I'll say this, it used to put me in absolute terror, knowing what had in store for me to be home with my son who is living with autism, nonverbal son is living with autism. And I'm really grateful to say that that's not the case. Like, I know that I'm strong enough and I know that I can get through. And Billy is doing much better than he's ever done. But the other equation is that he's a lot bigger than he's ever been. And I don't have the same kind of control or power that I've had before in the past. So last week flattened me, and I actually had to have him come be taken home a day, or taken to his dad's a day earlier, because I hurt my foot chasing after him, trying to find him. And I took the weekend, did my full-time job in 4 days, and came back in here feeling like, okay, I've got 3 more days, I can get this done, but always wanting to be more transparent about mommy fails and just the things that we face each day, and how, how that can affect somebody's person, and how that has affected me personally. I like to speak from my own personal experience, because I believe that the only way you're going to know me and trust me is by really knowing me. And Billy got out last week. He decided to take a little tour of our neighborhood. He hasn't done that in a really long time. And I found myself in my car because I didn't know how long it had been. He's been really pretty self-sufficient in his own room or in the backyard playing with my phone in my hand, ready to call 911. And he came walking out of somebody's side yard, soaking wet. He obviously had found a hose in their front yard, which is really hard for him to pass up. And now I need to carry the keys to the front door, because I have an iron screen door that is locked with me, because he's tall enough to get them no matter how high I put him. And he used to not even be able to figure out how to put them in a door. And he's quite efficient at doing that, and he's efficient at doing it quietly. So I had to start really understanding and coming to terms with the idea that he may need to live with his dad eventually, because he is large, and how hard that is for a special needs mom to look at. We all want our children to grow up, well, maybe not immediately, but we do want them to become independent and self-sufficient and be able to live outside of us. And for so many years, I have been coming to terms with the fact that Billy would probably be with me for the rest of his life, for the rest of my life. But seeing the size that he's becoming, and the fact that he has become more independent, so he wants to do things, I need to look at other resources. And his dad has indicated that he understands that that's probably something he needs to do. So I have to come to terms with the fact, and I've done enough in regards to the one-to-one care. Eventually, I'm obviously not there. I'm not going to send my son away from me or have him live with his dad. He still needs the stability, and this has been his home for as long as he's been able to recall. But it was rough. It was a real real hard thing to grapple with, and it's a real hard thing to kind of accept about myself and about the situation, and about just the frailty of us all, realizing that I am powerless over how large Billy gets and whether he listens to me, and how his brain develops so that he can live on his own, or at least in some kind of incredible independence, which is what I learn every day. Going through that and hitting the 4th of July holiday, and I haven't celebrated the 4th of July holiday in a traditional sense for a very long time. I posted something on Facebook about how a lot of special needs families get stuck at home because our kids can't handle fireworks. They can't handle being out. They can't handle that many people. For my son's case, the food that's traditionally served at a 4th of July celebration is not appropriate and will make him sick. And I had mentioned something, just put a meme of somebody else who had written that out beautifully, along with an excerpt from my life, which is, this was my life and this still is my life on many holidays. When everybody's out posting, what are you going to do on Memorial Day weekend? Or what are you going to do here? Or what do you do that? For years and years and years, there was just not that possibility in my life. I do have an adopted Grammy for my son and an auntie, and they have made it possible and even welcomed us into their celebrations. And still, those can be tough for Billy. So a lot of feelings came up, and I'm going to do my best to walk through them and come in here and share about it. But I was thinking about how easy it would be to move on to the next thing and focus on, oh, you know what, my belly's getting bigger. I'm 50 this year. And as they said, there's a little roundness that comes in the abdomen. And after having Billy, I've always kind of had a little bit of that. And so that's showing up, so I can focus on that and avoid the deep grief and the fear that I have. I can focus on that. I could focus on this business right here and figure out, how do I get more followers, or how do I do better? I could focus on what I don't have and worry about that. I could focus on being afraid about the future in a way that paralyzes me today. I could get up and get really busy and, spring clean my house all over again, or organize that closet, because that'll make me feel better. But I know ultimately that even if I do some of those things because it's too painful right at this moment, which is okay, because if we do those things right this moment, instead of maybe some of the more dangerous things that I've been known to do in the past, that eventually I have to come back to the center and grieve this and accept this and turn to my higher power for that comfort, and that knowing, and that eventually I have to feel all the feelings, do the exercises that I talk so much about and that I walk people through when you're dealing with a trauma or something that needs to be grieved, so that you can move forward and live the fullest life. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to talk about when I came in here. I know I put on my Power 31 Bits necklace. If any of you like this necklace, it's Google 31 Bits, because it's an amazing cause, and the necklaces are really light. So they're made from paper from Ugandan women. But they look cool, right? See, that looks cool. And that, I thought that'll give me my power, and that's okay too. Putting on a little necklace and a little lip gloss and coming in and sharing a not so shiny, motivating truth is all right. And I just wish everybody a beautiful day. And if you are facing something that needs to be dealt with, if you're feeling grief, or you find yourself busying yourself to stay away from it, that's okay too, because it'll come around. And you'll be strong enough to face it, and the truth will come out, because my higher power, who I choose to call God, has my back and always has, and he has my son's back. And I have to come to terms understanding that I have done so much, and Billy's future and his health are not only mine to bear. So I love you all. And it's still kind of gray in Southern California, but I'll take it because it's a little cooler than it could be. All right. Love you, ladies. Bye.